Alrighty, so today we are going to finish up the review of the last six games from the midweek action, and let's jump straight in terms of talk about the first game, which is Nashville versus Orlando City, and I think this game kind of just sums up in terms of the recent form that both of these teams are in and the direction that both of these teams are in right now. Because while Orlando City, it feels like we're starting to see something similar to last season when they got off to a slow start, but started picked up in the second half of the season. It's happening again with them now winning four in a row, and all of a sudden they have charged up the standings in the Eastern Conference. Whereas for Nashville, yeah, that new interim head coach boost is long gone, and they are really hoping that BJ Callahan will take over this team as soon as possible because it's been a mess in these last couple of games for Nashville. Now, early on, the first shot of the game did see Mukhtar hits it right to Glace before Torres had Orlando for a shot, but he missed wide there. Cartagena then puts it wide from long range, but then in the 19th minute, Cesar Ruel would score from Ojeda to give Orlando a 1-0 lead. Set piece problem for Nashville struck again in this one. It was poor set piece defending here from Nashville. In fact, Nashville pretty much has the same problem in this game as Minnesota did against DC. They just simply cannot defend set pieces in this one. Mayer did look to answer, but he missed wide there before Torres hits it right to Willis, and then Mukhtar had a free kick that took a deflection and missed wide as both of these teams was exchanges chances and looking for the next goal. And in the end, it will be Orlando, the one that gets the next goal, as Alex Mule unfortunately scored an own goal here. And again, it came of a set piece. It was a ball coming into the box. Unfortunately, Mule, that's always a helpless feeling when you're a defender where you're trying to head this one away, but instead you head it back toward your own net and ends it up into your own net, and that's exactly what happened. But still, not great set piece defending there from Nashville. And I even wrote it. It seems like they're having the same issue that Minnesota had against DC, just set piece defending basically non-existent. So we head to halftime with Orlando needing 2-0 in the second half. Not much really happened in the beginning of the second half, which I thought they favored Orlando. We then had some coming together between both of this team, and then we had Willis denying Torres from close range in the 68th minute before he denied Cartagena in the front post as Orlando once again had the momentum. They were pushing for the third goal. Nashville was clearly not interested in this game. Like, they look like they are down and out in this game. And just to add insult to injury, in the 81st minute, Enrique would score from Angulo to make it 3-0 in favor of Orlando. So Romero Enrique is definitely getting the best of his chances with the way that now that Maguire is not available in this one. He's really stepped up big for this team to now give Orlando a 3-0 lead. And then it looked like Nashville got one back when Bunbury puts it into the back of the net. Unfortunately, the flag did not agree with him, and certainly that's also just sums up Nashville luck lately. They just have been having no luck whatsoever. They're getting absolutely pounced in these last couple of games. And yeah, at home, losing 3-0 to Orlando City. Shots in this one, 9 shots for the 8 that Nashville has, 2 shots on goal for the 5 that Orlando City has, 2 shots off target for the 3 that Nashville has, 3 shots on block for the 1 that Orlando City has, and possession-wise, 50% for both of these teams. Now, mind you, Nashville was kind of in a similar position like this last season where they were actually really just kind of struggling as they get into League Cups play, and then we know what happened in Leagues Cup, where they went all the way to the final, only to lose to Inter Miami in a PK shootout. They're hoping that of course, is the same case. In fact, that's kind of the case for a lot of these bad teams, where they know the season is over, and as much as I know the Leagues Cup has been very controversial, it is a way back for a lot of these teams that's not doing very well in the league, that they can focus on this competition, and if they can win it, then they can forget about the bad season that they are having in league play. Now, that being said, moving on in terms of the next match is the Galaxy and the Colorado Rapids, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised that there was not more goals in this game, especially in the second half, because yeah, this felt like it was a very Galaxy kind of game, and yet, despite the fact that in the second half they kind of were reeling a little bit with the way that the Rapids really put on the pressure, they hold on to win this one, and now they are the new leader in the Western Conference after this win. Now, early on, Cuevas looked like he got the opening goal this game, and he should have, because this goal should have not been disallowed if the referee didn't play advantage. And even the referee knows it, he apologized for that. But obviously, I'm pretty sure Galaxy fans were absolutely livid about that, and even some of the players are too, and rightfully so, because you got to play advantage in that play. You can't just pull back for a free kick on that. But on that ensuing free kick, Stefan did deny Fagundes, and he actually clashed onto the post as he saved that one. So he definitely paid a bit of a price in terms of making that save. But nevertheless, the good news for the Galaxy is eventually they do get the opening goal as Fagundes would score from back here to give the Galaxy a 1-0 lead. Where in the world was the defending from the Colorado Rapids? I mean, there was no defending whatsoever. Fagundes was finding himself wide open there in the box. Yeah, just for a Rapids team that has been very, very good this season in terms of the defending, and especially led by a now All-Star with Moses Bombito getting selected into the All-Star team today. Yeah, I mean, this was kind of questioning why in the why is the Rapids defense just kind of been missing in that sequence. But there was no doubt the Galaxy continued to dominate. They had all the possession up to this point. Stefan would deny Paintsill from close, and then he denied Peck from close in the 30th minute. But then in the 32nd minute, really against the run of play, guess who? It's Kevin Cabral. He scored from Lewis to tie the game up at one apiece. I swear, every time when Kevin Cabral play against his former team, it feels like he has a vendetta against his former team, and rightfully so, because I do think that, yes, I know he was absolutely snake bitten during his time with the Galaxy, and I feel like he's at time kind of being a little bit harshly treated by the fan base. But yeah, he definitely take that as fuel because he's definitely been scoring more goals lately and haven't been as snake bitten as it used to be. Well, that being said, even though he did get a little sweet revenge of scoring against his former team, he paid the price to do so. I mean, he actually landed awkwardly on his shoulder, and he had to come out of the game because of it. So yeah, on one hand, it's great that he got some sweet revenge against his former team, but on the other hand, he might have just paid the price and got himself injured because of that. But nevertheless, it ties the game up at one apiece. But the game quickly was untied just 11 minutes later. Is untied even a word to say? I guess it is now because in the 43rd minute, Ricky Pooch would score from Paintsill to give the Galaxy a 2-1 lead. Just a vintage goal there from Ricky Pooch. You know that not only is a very good passer, he's also a very good finisher too, especially from long range. And yeah, that gives the Galaxy the lead now. That made it 3-1 up to this point. I might have missed a Galaxy goal too because the number doesn't actually add up when I just look at this. Yeah, I did miss a Galaxy goal. I forgot to mention in the 36th minute, Paintsill scoring from Peck here to make it 3-1 in that one, and it came off of a very Galaxy-esque goal where they score on the counter attack. So apologies to Galaxy fan that I forgot to put that goal there because I just realized I remember the Galaxy score retake the lead relatively quicker than the one that they had in the 43rd minute. So yeah, in some way the game was untied for relatively quickly, but yeah, up to that point after Puig scored, it was 3-1. But then a penalty was given to the Rapids as Yamane brought down Navarro in the box there, and that allowed Navarro to score from the penalty. But he's been struggling from the spot. He used to be automatic from the spot. Lately, he's been having problem in from the spot here, as this one was saved by McCarthy. But fortunately for him, Bassett was there to score on the rebound. Now there was a question if Cole Bassett was or he was encroaching as that save was made by McCarthy, but in the end, they said that was a good goal. There was no encroachment from Cole Bassett, and yeah, just like that, it was a 3-2 game, and that would be the scoreline heading into the second half. Again, very Galaxy game. The way that this game is very entertaining and very high scoring. Now in the second half, Bassett would look to get another and get the tying goal, but he missed wide there for McCarthy would deny Laras from close. Push would then hits one right to Stefan. It's been a very fast paced game. Again, that can work both ways for the Galaxy. On one end, that's kind of the game that they want to play. They feel very comfortable with it. But in terms of just trying to hold on to the lead, that's not a thing you want to do in terms of playing a very open game, especially giving chances to the Rapids, and they do so as in the 65th minute, McCarthy would deny Lewis from close range before Navarro hits one right to McCarthy, and the Rapids continue to push to try to get the equalizer. Puig would then blast it high from long range before Vines completely whiffs a shot from close range, and that is one that Sam Wines would want to have back because that was the chance to really tie the game up at 3 apiece. And this is where I said again, I know the Galaxy. This is kind of the game that they want to play with them playing very fast pace and look for the counter attack, but they're really walking a tightrope, giving these grade A chances to the Rapids. Yap, he would then hits one right to McCarthy, and then Peck had a chance to finish it in the 4th minute stoppage time, but he puts this one wide. The good news for the Galaxy is they do hold on to win 3-2 in this game, despite the fact that I can't believe there was not more goals in the second half of the way that there was chances for both of these teams. Shots in this one, 16 shots for the 11 that the Rapids had, but both teams had 9 shots on goal in this one. So there was a lot of chances for both of these teams. 5 shots off target for the 3 that the Rapids had, 1 shot was blocked for the 2 that the Galaxy had, and possession-wise, 53% possession compared to 47% possession the Rapids has in this game. And like I said, I have the Galaxy winning this one, and also a little spoiler with both LAFC and RSL did not get 3 points and draw in that game. Galaxy is your new leader in terms of the Western Conference. Now, the style that they play, I've said it many times that I feel like it's unsustainable. They can't just keep outscoring teams and playing this crazy style where they're gonna be really direct on the attack and basically say the hell with defensive reinforcement. But it's worked out for them. I mean, they're in first place in the West. Whereas for the Rapids, I don't think that they should be too ashamed of them in this game in terms of losing this one because I felt they played well in this game, and that's kind of expected because of Chris Armour's team. Even in losses, the Rapids have looked really good, and this is an example of it where they just if they were just a little bit more clinical in this game, they probably would have got a big point away against the team that has done very well this season and now are at the top of the Western Conference. So that being said, moving on in terms of the next game is the Quakes and the Houston Dynamo. So yeah, it took a while for the Dynamo, and again, it feels like this was second game in a row for the Dynamo where it looked like their finishing was just not there in this game. But just like the last game against Minnesota, where they found a way late in this game, they do so in the same case in this game against the Quakes because of course that's the case. I mean, it's almost predictable that the Quakes are going to give up a late goal. Now, in the first half, Aliu with the game's first shot, but he missed wide there as the Dynamo on the front foot. They were trying to get the opening goal. It was a typical slow start for the Quakes in this game. Carrasquillo would hits one right to Jackson before Fiera heads it wide from close range. Jackson then denied Dorsey in the front post. I thought this was a better game for Jacob Jackson. I mean, he had a bit of a horror debut for the Quakes, and again, the Quakes have has a lot of issue that they need to deal with. Goalkeeping obviously is going to be one of those, even when Daniel does come back from this team. But the shots were 9-2 for the Dynamo up to this point, and yet somehow it's still 0-0 because Houston just not able to show that clinical finishing. Kikanovic would hit it wide from close before Ibowosi would do so just 8 minutes later as the Quakes started to get into this game a little bit. They really weathered the early Dynamo storm, though as I said that, Fiera had a shot that was deflected and missed high, and we do head to halftime scoreless between both of these teams. In the second half, Lopez would sky one into the supporter section, but hey, look, it was a penalty that was given to the Quakes in the 51st minute, as it looked like Mikael brought down Espinoza in the box. They go to VAR to see whether that's the case, and it wasn't, and it was the right call in the end. I mean, I think in the end, it seems like there was not really a lot of contact in terms of it, and if anything, I feel like Mikael actually got the ball first before he brought down Espinoza, so I think that's a clean challenge. Good call there from VAR. So no penalty was given to the Quakes as a result of that. Fiera had a shot that was deflected and goes wide before Herrera hits it right to Jackson. As once again, Houston started to gain some steam again. They were getting some some real opportunity, but again, they still hasn't really troubled the Quakes in terms of creating some really dangerous chances. And really, as I said, I haven't mentioned Jackson name besides in the first half. So they were having problem again, just like they did against Minnesota, of putting the ball on target and finishing some chances. Kikanovic then heads it wide from close before Gaines would miss wide from close range. And really, as the time winds down, just a reminder, the Quakes have gave up 20 goals after 75 minutes has gone in this game and in the last 15 minutes of this game. That is by far the most that anybody has given up. And yes, that is actually true because even though I know Sporting KC fans want to have a word with that, the Quakes have given up tons of goals past that. I don't think even Sporting KC have given up like 20 goals after the 75th minute mark. And again, part of that is because there were a couple of games where they gave up like a lot of goals after the 15 minute. I think in that game alone against NYCFC, they gave up like four goals after the 75th minute mark. And then in the game against Cincinnati, I think they gave up like three more goals after the 75th minute mark. Pellegrino then flashed one wide from long range, but then in the 87th minute, make it number 21 in terms of goals have conceded by the Quakes after the 75th minute. As Daniel Sturridge, a rare goal for him here. He scored from Bassi to give the Dynamo a 1-0 lead. We then had some pushing and shoving that happened right near the end of the game, and that was kind of the most fight that I've seen the Quakes have had throughout this game. And yeah, in the end, the Dynamo they found a way to get a 1-0 win in this one. Shots in this one, 22 shots for the 9 that the Quakes had, 7 shots on goal compared to 0 that the Quakes has in this one. 7 shots off target for both of these teams. 2 shots that was blocked for the 7 that the Dynamo has, and possession wise, 58% possession compared to 42% possession the Quakes has in this game. And again, the Dynamo, I'm pretty sure Van Olsen is not going to be happy with this kind of performance, especially playing against the worst team in the league. They still have trouble in terms of finishing, but still, as the old saying goes, good teams are able to grind out resort even when they're not playing at their best. And certainly, this is another game where the Dynamo are gonna feel like they gotta do better in terms of finishing against these bottom feeding team. But again, the good news is they're playing the Quakes, and again, unless your name is not the Chicago Fire or LAFC, at least in the season at Levi Stadium, you're gonna get all 3 points whenever you play the Quakes, and I'm just hoping that maybe could be the case in that game against Minnesota over the weekend. But as I'll mention in my preview, boy, it's not really the Blues not Derby anymore. It's the dumpster fire Derby that we're gonna see in that game. With that being said, moving on, we got Seattle versus St. Louis. So speaking of a team that is struggling right now, St. Louis is definitely one of those teams. And this game kind of is almost similar to what I said about Nashville and Orlando City. While the losing team is definitely struggling lately and continue to struggle, the winning team has definitely picked it up and are charging up the standings. And that's kind of the case with the Seattle Sounders getting a 2-0 home win against St. Louis. They had most of the possession early in this one, though Fry did deny Kojima from close range before Sorensen puts it wide from close. The possession was 79-21 in favor of the Sounders. They were dominating the possession in this one, but unfortunately, they just couldn't do anything with it and couldn't really quite create any chances, which kind of sounded very Sounders brand of them, at least in the early part of the season, as that was the big problem with this team. Nuhu then puts it high after he was trying to chip Berkey in the 25th minute, so good try there from Nuhu, but it's always going to be tough to try to chip Roman Berkey. But in the 28th minute, Seattle does get the opening goal. It's Tim Parker that unfortunately scored an own goal in this one. There was a lot of own goals that was scored this match week, and add another one to that tally with the Sounders leading 1-0. Sorensen did look to respond, but he missed wide there in the 37th minute before Reagan had to clear the header off the line after the Sounders just did not clear their lines and did not defend very well with that ball coming into the box. But we do head to halftime. Nothing. It didn't take long for them to make it 2-0, as in the 47th minute, former St. Louis expansion pick John Bell would score from Rusnak to make it 2-0 in favor of Seattle, and that's got to frustrate thing if you're St. Louis, because John Bell is a guy that really never broke through St. Louis, and I thought he was going to get more minutes after he was selected in the expansion draft. It never really quite worked out, and even with Seattle, he hasn't really worked out. Yeah, he's been kind of buried deep into the depth chart, but he's definitely paying Brian Schmitz some faith after playing in making a rare appearance here, because he scored here from Rusnak to make it 2-0 against the Sounder, of course against his former team. He did not celebrate as a result of that. Leuven did look to answer, but he missed wide there, as I thought St. Louis did respond well. They were looking to try to get one back, though, as I said that, Berkey would deny Vargas off the deflection before Watts would hit one right to Fry. Morris then looked to shut the door here, and knowing that Jordan Morris has been red hot lately, you wouldn't have bet that he would have missed that chance, but he was denied by Berkey. They're a great save there from Roman Berkey. That I feel bad for Roman Berkey. I mean, this season, yes, I don't think he was as stonewall as what we saw last season, but he's still trying his best to keep St. Louis in games, even in a losing cause, at least throughout this season. And then Bell tried to score another one against his former team, but he heads it wide from the corner as Seattle was looking for that third goal late in this game. They don't get it, but they do get all 3 points in this one as the Sounders win 2-0 against St. Louis. Shots in this one, 13 shots for the 12 that St. Louis had, 2 shots on goal for the 6 that Seattle has, 3 shots off target for the 5 that St. Louis had, 5 shots that was blocked for the 4 that the Sounders had, and possession-wise, 65% possession compared to 35% possession that St. Louis has in this game. So, like I said, this game very similar to the Nashville versus Orlando City game. The winning team seems like they're on a roll and climbing up in the standings, whereas the losing team look like they want this season in, and I'm pretty sure St. Louis. Again, this is what I said about Nashville, and I'll apply the same with St. Louis. Now that they got the Leeds Cup coming up, good opportunity for them to see if they can do well. I mean, I know last season in the Leeds Cup it was an absolute disaster, but we'll see whether they can do well and maybe salvage something because man, this second season syndrome has just hit the St. Louis team hard, along with the injury bug that they've been getting. With that being said, I am now going to change boards and look at the last two games to finish up the review for this midweek action of match week number 26. So moving on, in the next one, we got Vancouver and Sporting KC, and this is another game that kind of gone according to script. A team that is playing very well against a team that's not playing very well this season, and the Whitecaps get the 2-1 win in this one. And really, I think when you look at the second part of this review, we're starting to seeing games that didn't really create that surprising factor like what we saw in the first half of this review, but. Yeah, in the first half, White would have a header that was clear off the line before a goal would hit one right to Melia. Unsurprisingly, Vancouver was on the front foot. They were looking for the opening goal here. Though Castellanos did hit one right to Takuoka before goal puts it wide from long range. Ahmet then hits one right to Melia. I don't know why I wrote Takuoka there in the 21st minute, but it was all Whitecaps up to this point. The question is, can they find that clinical finishing? Because it's one thing to create chances, but can you bury one? Well, White tried to do so, but he hits it wide from close range, and then he thought he did score in the 27th minute. The flag did not agree with him, as the goal was disallowed for offside. But the good news for Vancouver, that pressure finally paid off. As guess what? Another own goal scored by Voladir. I mean, own goal was the match the player of the week this week, wasn't it? I mean, there was an own goal here, there was an own goal in the Seattle game. I think there was also an own goal in the Nashville and Orlando City game. There just so many own goals that has been scored in this one, and some of these are very similar too, where it was just a ball coming into the box and then a defender. That's always kind of hard, and just one of the worst feeling for a defender is that when you try to defend in front of your goal and you try to slide down, you just better hope you didn't just poke it into your own net. And here, that's kind of what we saw as that give Vancouver a 1-0 lead, and really it deserved 1-0 lead too because it's been coming with the way that they were putting a lot of pressure. Vargas did look to respond, but he hits it right to Takoka, and then Ahmet scored here to make it 2-0. Unfortunately, that goal was disallowed for offside, and for the second time tonight, the Whitecaps would deny of a goal because of the offside flag. But for the second time, the flag not only bailed out Sporting Casey in this one, but also bailed out Melia in a big way because this was an absolute howler there from Tim Melia, spilling the catch here and basically puts it right into the path of Ahmed, and that he is very fortunate that the flag came up because it would be another bad moment for the SKC netminder that, like the team itself, not having a good season. So we go to the halftime with Vancouver leading 1-0. In the second half, Takoka would deny Tommy from close before the post would deny a free throw, and on the second effort, Agata would miss wide from close range. As Sporting Casey kind of woke up a little bit in the second half. Whatever Peter May said to this team kind of worked out for once. And I thought they were the better side. They were pushing to try to get the equalizer. Shari had a shot that was clear off the line by Veselinovic, but then in the 69th minute, nice. Agata would tie the game up at one apiece for Sporting KC, and you're thinking maybe momentum could be with Sporting with the way that they play so well in the second. Nope. In the 76th minute, Fafa Pico would score from Berhalter and Kubas to give the Whitecaps a 2-1 lead. I'll tell you what, I'm pretty sure the Whitecaps are doing everything and everything to try to keep Fafa Pico in this team because he's been very good for this team in the last couple of games, and I know he's been mentioning that he might be requesting a trade to move back to the East Coast and joining an Eastern Conference team. But I'm pretty sure Vancouver are begging him of staying because of him making some really big impact in terms of the goal scoring department. And then in the 79th minute, Afrifa did look to respond, but he missed wide there before Kubas would hits the side netting in the 84th minute. Vite would hit one right to Melia in the 90th minute as Vancouver were looking to push late to try to restore that 2 goal lead, but it was to no avail, though they do still get the 3 points, the Vancouver Whitecaps. They win 2-1 against Sporting KC. The shots in this one, a lot of shots, 13 shots with a 17 that Sporting has, 6 shots on goal for the 4 that the Whitecaps had, 7 shots off target with a 4 that Sporting KC had, 3 shots that was blocked with a 6 that Sporting KC had, and possession-wise, 55% possession compared to 45% possession that Sporting KC has in this game. So Vancouver, another win at home, pretty easy win against a team that's not doing very well this season. And for Sporting KC, I mean, at least those Wizards jersey were very nice. By the way, we have seen some teams that decided to release their third jersey, those retro look jerseys that they of course wear doing this match day. The Galaxy, of course, did it, and also that's why I decided to wear this little retro Galaxy home jersey that they released a couple of years ago. And I'm definitely planning to buy that Sporting KC Wizards kit because that's been one that I kind of predicted in the beginning of the season that they were going to release a third kit that pay homage to the Wiz, and that they have done so, and they have done it amazingly. So definitely looking forward to buy that jersey in the near future. But that being said, moving on into the last game on this board, and that, of course, is LAFC versus RSL. And I gotta say, this game felt like a playoff game, didn't it? And it kind of you kind of had a sense that that was the case because these are two very good teams that coming off of not so great performance on the weekend. And after this game, both of these teams settle for a 1-1 draw, and in a game where do not be surprised if that we're gonna see another matchup between both of these teams in the playoffs, and it should be very interesting to see if that's the case. In the first minute, Luna would puts it wide from long range, but then in the fourth minute, LAFC draw first blood. It's Oliveira. He scored from a Cuesta to give LAFC a 1-0 lead. So Kike Oliveira, coming back from national team duty with Uruguay in the Copa America, seems like his shackle has been broken because he's been also a guy that has been kind of snake bitten at time for LAFC. No, this is one that he can thank Zach McMath for it. Just a big howler that was committed there from Zach McMath. And again, this is not the first time we have seen this happen this season. Zach McMath, if RSO is going to go deep into the playoffs, they better hope McMath can get his things together with the way that there's been games where he has had these kind of games where he's been bad. And if you're a team that's going to go deep into the playoffs, you need to have your goalkeeper to be solid and not have these kind of games. Chang did try to answer, but he hits it right to Larice before Bogush tried to chip McMath, but McMath was having none of it. He tipped that one over. Though, as I said that, McMath almost got chipped here because he once again gave the ball straight to him off the line, similar to the goal that he conceded, and he's fortunate that he just was able to get back in his lines to tip it over. Crooks then hits it wide from close range as the shots were 4-3 for RSL, as I thought it was a bit of an even game. Wonga was in on goal there, but he was denied by McMath in the 27th minute. But then in the 32nd minute, RSL would tie the game, and it's Mateus Vera scoring from the free kick. And while it was crazy the fact that he was able to put that one from long range like that, because that was like from 30 so yards out. You usually do not see a free kick that score from that range. This did take a deflection, and that is one that I think you really want to have back because again, one of the thing when you are a defender is even if you're basically at the wall, you don't want to just stick your leg out and trying to touch the ball because if you stick a leg out, I know it might be used to try to deflect it away, but it can be a bit a gamble too because you hope that if you stick a leg out, it would deflect it away for a corner, but also you can basically stick a leg out and it can deflect it into your own net and just completely fool your goalkeeper, and that's exactly what happened here. Ely stuck a leg out, hoping that it was going to go wide, and it didn't go wide. It completely flat-footed Lloris, and it goes into the back of net. But so yeah, it was all tied up at one apiece. They were looking for a second one from Anderson Julio, but Julio, of course, is snake bin. lately. He hits the side netting, and then Luna had a shot that took a deflection and goes wide. By the way, Diego Luna also named to the MLS All Star team. Congratulations to that, and well deserved. I do think that he got screwed over with the Olympic team. I cannot believe the U.S. did not pick Diego Luna in the Olympic team. So this is a bit of a small consolation for Diego Luna being in the All Star game. But the momentum was with RSL. They were looked to try to take the lead. McMath, though, did deny Bogusz from close. And we do head to halftime with the score tied up at one apiece between two heavyweights in the Western Conference. In the second half, Ojeda would hit one right to Luis before Luna had a shot that was deflected and goes wide as RSL kind of picked up where they left off. They were looking to try to press for the lead, though, as I said, Kamara would puts it wide from close before Julio was in on goal there. But this is Anderson Julio. He's not allowed to score a goal, so he missed wide there in the 60th minute. And you kind of feel like this game, feel like it's a bit of on a knife edge. And it, again, just had that playoff kind of feeling where it's anybody game that can get this next goal. Well, Vera tried to do so again from the free kick, but this time he didn't put it on target. He puts this one high before McMath on the other end denied Atuesta on the free kick. But LAFC actually get a second crack, and Kai Kamara had a chance to finish it, but he puts that one wide. But in the 78th minute, Bogusz would miss a sitter from close range, and that is one that Bogusz want to have back because he's been red hot for LAFC, and you know that Demon Smile. If you get another chance, it's gonna be in the back of net, and it's going to be 2-1 for LAFC. But Oviedo has the last chance of the game, but he puts it wide from long range. As in the end, it ends in a 1-1 game in this one. The shots in this one, there was 9 shots compared to 19 that RSL had, but only 3 shots on goal for RSL compared to 5 that LAFC had. So despite RSL kind of outshot LAFC in this game, a lot of these shots for RSL was either blocked or not on target, which LAFC will definitely take it. 9 shots off target for the 3 that LAFC had, 6 shots that was blocked for the 7 that RSL had, and possession-wise, 54% possession compared to 46% possession that LAFC has in this game. And like I said, it really felt like a playoff game of how it went, and I would not be surprised that if both of these teams meet each other in the playoffs, we're gonna have a similar game like this. And part of me really want to see this matchup in the playoffs, but we'll see. With the way that they, of course, are probably gonna finish near the top of the standings, the only way I can see this could potentially be a playoff matchup is either get into the conference final or when we get to the second round, where yeah, this could be a very entertaining kind of matchup if both of these teams going to meet each other in the playoffs. But there you have it. That is pretty much it in terms of looking at the last 6 games to finish off the review for match week number 26. As always, let me know in the comments below what do you think of these games. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys like, smash the subscribe button. And yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.